Hey guys, Ray from Love You RV here once again, and today I'm doing a little maintenance project. I'm going to pull out my landing legs, fifth wheel landing legs. You can see them there. Pull out one by one, and I'm going to re-lubricate them. I had these fail about a year and a half ago. I put brand new ones in, so I think it's about time to pull them out, check them, and make sure they're lubed well. Mine are really easy to get out, so rather than lubricate them in here, I'm going to just undo this bolt here, and this bolt here, and this cross member here, and she'll be able to just pull right out. So I got the rig sitting on the truck right now. Okay, got the bar off, and I've wound up the leg all the way and taken off the foot. These are these elephant feet I installed, I guess about a year and a half ago or so. They've been really good actually. At first I thought, oh, they're plastic, they're not going to last, but they've been pretty good. So they're a little expensive. I think they run about 150 bucks, but they really spread out the weight. I like the rubber bottoms too. Anyway, let's undo those bolts and get this puppy out of there. Well, one thing I forgot to get this out of the bottom, I have to take off this piece here so I can drop the inner leg first. Then I'll have enough space out the bottom to angle that black leg out. Well, wrong again. Anyway, after you get that piece off, this pulls up through the top. Pull it right out, and you're good to go. Okay, let's take it over to the table and have a look at this. So, what I'm looking to lubricate in there, this is looking up through the bottom, and you can see there's a long worm gear in there. And I want to get grease all over the threads of that worm gear. So at the other end is a collar nut, and that worm gear travels through that collar nut. I don't know if I can get the flashlight in there enough to show it. Anyway, I'm going to link to my video where I did the repair. The faulty one I took all apart, and the fault with that was a stripped collar nut. So that's why I'm eager to get good lubrication on that worm gear. So the other end is a bunch of bevel gears. I'll show you that later. So how do I lubricate that worm gear? What I'm going to do is I've taken a piece of irrigation piping here and cut it in half. I just used my Dremel tool to half it, and I'm going to coat that with some bearing grease. Get in there and move it around and coat that worm gear inside. So what do you do if you can't get this out? I've seen online some guys will take a piece of flexible tubing and they'll fill that full of grease, and then while it's on the rig they'll feed it up into that hole. I even see one guy, he put a Zerk on the end of it to pump some grease in there. Other guys have taken on here, and some of them actually come with them. They'll figure out around here and they'll drill a hole where they can pump some grease, or they'll put a grease fitting on there. But I have seen some of these actually come with grease fittings so that you can get some grease in around that collar nut. I think that collar nut sits around there. It's amazing that this thing holds. The only thing holding the rig up is these little stamped metal pieces that stick out a bit. Hold all the weight on the front there. It's pretty amazing. Okay, let's get dirty with some lubrication. So this is a 1 1/4 inch pipe. The opening is 2 inches there. Not sure what size that worm gear is. Looks maybe 1/2 inch or so. I'll just work that all around, try to get it into all the threads. I put a big blob at the end too. And next I'll just get the cordless drill and work that in and out. So a 1/2 inch cordless drill fits this perfect. Work it in and out a few times. And the next thing to do is the top. You can see here's the bevel gears. These fail quite a bit, especially if something locks up down there. Then these, sometimes the teeth will shatter off that and cause a major mess. As long as the worm gear is okay and the collar nut and everything, you can actually get a kit and replace just this part for, I think it's around $20–25. You can get the bevel gear kit and replace that. Looks good though. Everything looks to be functioning properly. So next I'll just clean off this old grease and pack some new grease in there. Okay, that's running smooth now. Sweet. Finish off that leg. I'm just going to take some silicone, give it a couple shots in either bearing up here, and I'll just spray down the leg and give it a good wipe. Make sure it's all nice and clean. Wind her up and we'll reinstall her. Oops, before I forget, it's a good time to take this mechanism and clean it up and re-lubricate it. So if I have a good spring to it. So, one down, one to go. Back in here. Got her all back in place. Put a red Sharpie mark on the max amount I can draw it up to. Now let's go to the other side. The other side is a little different story, a little more complicated, but not too hard. I got to take off the drive motor and also the gearbox. It's like a transmission that changes the gear ratio, so you get a lot of spin on this motor. Translates into not as much spin on the leg. Okay, so first we'll take off the crossmember bar again. After the crossmember's off, there's this little plastic collar and there's a little Phillips screw that's holding it in place. So just pull that off. It's like a little D. Just remember which way it goes. A little extension faces out. That's why it's good to videotape things as you take them apart. So this whole motor and transmission box will pull off now. Let's give you a quick look how that works. Okay, wrangled her out there. Wow, this one's a lot more dry. Those bevel gears don't have much grease on them at all. So I'll do the same routine to this leg as I just did to the other leg. This leg is called the lead leg, I guess because it's driven by the motor. And the other leg they call the follow leg. So if you're ordering replacements, you see this one has a much longer shaft because it's got to have the motor and the gearbox attached to it. Cool, halfway there. all sewed up, leveled again. So another summer maintenance job is in the books. Time to maybe grab a cold one and relax in the sun. I think I need to be doing what those folks are doing over there. So I think next video, it's time to take a break from the repairs and maintenance and get off and explore again. Maybe I'll head out on a couple hikes in Strathcona Provincial Park. It's about 30-40 minutes west of our location, over towards the mountains over there. It's a little hazy today, you can't really see them. But there's a couple beautiful lakes back there, and 3 or 4 really nice waterfalls. So stay tuned. Until next time, this is Ray from loveyourrv.com. Happy trails, folks. Cheers. Well, you weren't very much help. Where were you? Sleeping.